Hey guys, I'm Josiah, and welcome to the first episode of Movie Review. We are going to be talking about Glass, and this will be a spoiler-free review, and I'm very excited to share my thoughts and your thoughts as well about the film. Before we jump into it, if you're new around here and you love movies, then consider subscribing and joining the best movie-loving community here on YouTube. Also, I just want to mention real quick that RevYou made an interesting comment, and it really made me think through things a bit. I know not all of you will be able to see a movie in the theater every week, so I'm going to also include new releases on streaming platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu into the movie review segment. Next week, we will be reviewing A Kid Who Would Be King, but I think the following week, we might try to do Velvet Buzzsaw, which will be releasing on Netflix. I definitely want to make sure you guys have a chance to share your thoughts about films as well, if at all possible. So I feel like, especially since, you know, streaming platforms are becoming more relevant and stuff and all that, it would be cool to maybe include some of those films into the movie review as well and make that a little bit more accessible to you guys. Alright, with that being said, let's jump right into movie review for Glass. I just want to start off by saying that this was my second most anticipated film of 2019, and I went into the film really not knowing what to expect, which is probably the best case when you're going to watch a Shyamalan film. But Glass is a very mixed film for me. The strange thing about it was that it definitely felt more connected, more like a sequel to Split than it did Unbreakable. At least for like the first 3/4 of the movie, and I'm not entirely mad about that because I could watch James McAvoy play Kevin all day, but I think I expected more David and Elijah in this film. I expected them to have bigger roles, and they didn't really. Elijah becomes a heavy player, especially in the last third of the film, and I did appreciate that, but I think that it would have been really cool if Shyamalan had made this film more about David and Elijah. I think that would have been a really cool thing to do, and that just didn't really happen, unfortunately. The biggest disappointment for me for this film was definitely the fight scenes, particularly the fight during the climax of the movie. It was very, very underwhelming, and I guess I was expecting David and Kevin to get into some really brutal fights, you know, fights that just make you kind of wince when you watch them, and that just never really happened, which is kind of a disappointment. You know, I feel like with those two characters, especially since this film is supposed to be more grounded and realistic, you could really do some really crazy fights, you know, really brutal fights and all that stuff, and that just never really happened, and so that was definitely a disappointment to me. The fights were pretty poorly done, I thought, so that was something, you know, I'm not expecting, you know, like huge, overblown, exaggerated fights like we see in like Marvel or anything, you know. Sometimes I just expected more from the fights, I guess, and they didn't really. When you watch the film, you'll know what I mean, but they pretty much just kind of, you know, hugged each other the whole time during the fights. So it was weird, and yeah, that was definitely a disappointment for me. But a thing I appreciated about the film was the theme. This theme actually is a theme that carries over from Unbreakable, and I remember one of the things I appreciated so much about that film was that it always made you question, does David actually have superpowers, or is he just crazy and really lucky? These films carry very well into this film. These themes carry very well into this film as well. And I love how throughout this film, you're wondering if these characters really have these gifts or not. And that's really something that's like a constant, like, question you're asking yourself throughout this film. And these characters are basically, you know, just real people who are doing incredible things, and I love that. It doesn't feel glamorized, and it doesn't feel like they're larger than life heroes and villains. They just seem like ordinary people who are trying to understand how to fit into the world, and I love that. I love that theme. Also, Shyamalan decided to really outdo himself with the twists in this film. Like, he did like 500 twists at the end. So that was fun. Yeah, he really went all out with the twists, and it made the ending really my mouth was just kind of like open during the last like 15 minutes of the film, and I was just like, what is going on right now? This is insane. So that was cool. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some movie review comments from you guys. Mike Williams says, I loved this movie. Honestly, people were expecting a blockbuster superhero film. They missed the point of Unbreakable and Split. I felt like it was a great finale and very inspiring. I definitely can agree with this because I feel like people were expecting Shyamalan to do some sort of huge, epic movie for Glass, and it wasn't really that way at all. It still felt more like a Shyamalan film, focused on the character, smaller in scale, and all that, and I think that was a lot better of a decision from Shyamalan than if he had tried to make, like, you know, the next Last Airbender movie or whatever, and we all know how that would have turned out if he had actually done that. This film definitely is a film that fits more in his style and his wheelhouse instead of him trying to make another big action Hollywood blockbuster, you know. So I definitely can agree with this, Mike, and especially with the inspiring bit as well. The ending was absolutely amazing, but I do think the film as a whole could have been a better finale for the trilogy. I just think they could have done something more, but what we got wasn't horrible by any means. It was just a bit underwhelming to me in some ways. It was lacking in some ways, and I think the thing that was such a disappointment to me was how underutilized David and Elijah were in this film, especially David. He pretty much just sat in this room throughout the entire film. So yeah, it was kind of a disappointment as far as that goes. All right, let's go ahead and get into the rating. I am going to give this film a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really solid film. There's definitely some weak spots in it, but overall, it did a pretty good job at ending this trilogy, I thought. It was just underwhelming, like I said, so yeah, overall, I think it was very good. And if you are a fan of Unbreakable and Split, then I think you will definitely find enjoyment in this film. All right, those are my thoughts for Glass and the thoughts from you guys as well. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm excited to see where the series goes and watch it develop into something really awesome for the channel and for YouTube in general. And yeah, like I said, we will do some films that aren't just theatrical releases and stuff as well. I think that would be great. That'll give you guys more of a chance to be able to be involved in all that stuff and all that. But I'm excited to watch you guys get more involved with this series, because that is something that I really want to see happen with this series. So thank you for watching, and subscribe if you are new, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day, and yeah, talk to you later. Bye.